Shaler Halimon Jr. accomplished a lot during his brief time at Utah State University playing for Liddell Anderson. In just 2 years, he scored 1,284 points. He recorded 2 of the 3 triple-doubles in school history, averaged almost 27 points a game as a senior. His career scoring average, 25 points a game, is second in school history to the great Wayne Estes. He scored 47 points once against BYU as a senior. That's the 3rd highest game in school history. The Philadelphia 76ers made Shaler their #1 draft choice in the 1968 draft. In his pro career, he also played for the Chicago Bulls and the Portland Trailblazers. He was named to Utah State's All-Century team in 2005. Please welcome into the Utah State University Athletics Hall of Fame, Shaler Halimon Jr.
And Liddell came down, and he went and got Dale Brown, who was not yet one of his assistants. And they came down to recruit me. So they pulled around the corner, and I was raking and going on, and Dale Brown leaned out the car. He didn't know who I am. He never seen me. And he goes, "Excuse me, young man." And I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Can you tell me where I can find Shaler Halimon?" And I said, "Right over here." And I pointed to myself, and Liddell looks from the other side and sees me, jumps out, and he wants to talk to me about going to Utah State. So I stopped what I'm doing because I had to ask, and then we went in the office and talked. And I said, "Well, I'll consider it," but I told him I had 180 scholarship offers. Because from the junior college tournament, I was the MVP of the tournament, and I was the college player of the year in junior college that year. So I had all kinds of offers. I mean, when I say offers, I mean from everywhere you name, I had it. He left Dale Brown there to recruit me. So Dale goes, he's in Palm Springs, that's where he lives. So Dale goes and he's recruiting me every day. He's recruiting me like 3 days a week. He's coming down. And every time he comes down, he's trying to sell me on Utah State. And I said, "Coach," I said, "there's a lot of schools that offer the same thing you are offering me. So I can go anywhere I want to go." And he said, "I'll tell you what." He says, "I know everybody's trying to sell you on this school." He says, "What I want you to do is tell me what you want." And that was the question. Nobody asked me what I wanted. And so I told the coach, I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I promised my mother that when I started, that I would finish." She said, "If you go, you make sure you finish. Because she said, a Halimon never not finish what is supposed to happen." So I said, "Okay." So when he said that to me, he says, "Well, what do you want?" I says, "I want to graduate, and I want to go to summer school." He says, "Well, I don't know if you can go to summer school or not." I said, "Well, then I don't know if I can go to Utah State or not." Because that's what I wanted to do. So he says, "Just a moment." He came up, called Dale Anderson, and Dale said, "Yeah, we can get him in summer school." I mean, I had the grades stuff to get in summer school. So he comes back to the table, he says, "Liddell says we can get you in summer school." I said, "Where's the papers?" I mean, because I'd asked every other school that I had been with, could I go to summer school? Pull out the papers, and I signed the national letter of intent right there in Raleigh, California. That's how I got here. The next game came up, Dale Brown came up to me and said, "Shaler," he said, "when am I going to see you play?" I looked at him, I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I heard that you were a pretty good ball player." And I said, he says, I never seen the kind of talent that they tell me you got." And I go, "Oh?" So I said, "Okay." So the next night, we just lost to BYU, so the next night we go to Salt Lake to play Jack Gardner at the youth. I said, "Okay, so he wants to see." Well, that night, we were off and running. I had 39, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and we won our next 21 games. You know, we were bitter rivalries at BYU. And at one point, I was on the free throw line, and balcony runs just above the basket. So this kid runs to the balcony, and he goes, "Shaler, you're a Bushman." And I look up, and he spit at me, okay? So I go, "Whoa." So I called timeout, and I asked Liddell if he could let me take the guy one-on-one. And Liddell said, no, we just ran a play. He said, let's do this. And Dale Brown says, no, give him the ball and get out of his way. And okay, Liddell said, okay, so he took everybody and moved. If you watch the film, he moved everybody to one side, and I started going one-on-one on the guy that was guarding me. I think I made my next 7. Halftime came. I was still mad from what that guy had told me. So I continued to play like he had just spoken to me. And it was a back and forth thing. I'd score, they score, I score, they score, I score. And most people don't know this, they had me down for 51 in one book and had me down for 50 in the other book. This is the BYU and Logan, they had me down for 50 and 51. So they agreed on 47. Now figure that one out. People were telling me, he said, folks, if you're not at this game, you're missing one great game. He said, because Halimon is going off. Super Shea is killing folks. It was kind of like that. And when I got back to campus, it's a big write-up the next day about how I got 47 and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I remember that game.
Well, how would you summarize your experience here?
Best 2 years I had in my life.